Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to follow the discussion concerning the Spartan women by focusing on the female worshippers in ancient Sparta and their engagement in ritual activities and heroic cult. The role of women in ancient Sparta presents a fascinating and unique perspective within the broader context of Greek society. Unlike other Greek polis, Spartan women enjoyed significant freedoms and responsibilities that extend well beyond the domestic sphere. Furthermore, Spartan women were crucial participants in the religious life of Sparta and public life of Sparta, engaging actively in heroic cults and various ritual activities. Their participation reflected their importance in maintaining and perpetuating Spartan values and traditions. In a society deeply rooted in militarism and communal values, the involvement of women in religious practices underscores the distinctive nature of Spartan society, where women had more autonomy and influence compared to their counterparts elsewhere in Greece. In this regard, Spartan women's participation in cultural activities, particularly those centered around the heroic cults, was significant in several key rituals and festivals, which included, for instance, the worshipping of Helen, the association with the cult of the Leucipides, the cult of Alexandra Cassandra, the cult of Kiniska, already addressed by the previous speakers, and the Iakintia. As for the cult of Helen, she had held a unique and influential position within the multifaceted pantheon of Spartan heroic cults. Therefore, her cult deserves a special focus in this discussion. Worshipped as both the wife of Menelaus and the sister of the Dioscuri, Helen's cult gained a significant prominence during the archaic and classical periods. Her heroic status was celebrated in several sanctuaries and through various festivals held in her honor, reflecting her importance in Spartan society. One of these key sites of Helen worship was the Menelaion at Therapne, where she was venerated alongside her husband, the Spartan king Menelaus, of course. It is believed that a festival known as the Heleneia was closely connected to this sanctuary. Literary evidence suggests that Helen played an active role in these celebrations. For instance, in Euripides' Helen and Aristophanes' Lysistrata, Helen is depicted leading a chorus of young girls during a local Spartan festival, highlighting her association with youth and the community's collective rights. Therefore, Spartiate's daughters were strongly encouraged in participating in these celebrations, which may have acted as initiation or passage rites. The Heleneia festival was likely a grand celebration of Helen's prominent status. It featured a variety of athletic and musical competitions where women and girls participated in choral dances and hymns dedicated to Helen. These performances were more than mere entertainment. They symbolized the communal unity and the reinforcement of social bonds within the Spartan society. In addition, the poet Theocritus, in his work Epithalamion of Helen, provides further insight into the worship of Helen by describing two distinct phases of her cult. Indeed, in her youth, Helen was depicted as participating in races with other girls, symbolizing her vitality and connection to adolescence. As she matured and assumed her role as the wife of Menelaus, Helen's worship evolved. Young women would no longer race in her honor, but instead revered her as a marital figure, offering libations under a plane tree. This specific tree, as described by Theocritus, was likely associated with the cult of Helen at the Platanistas, a urban shrine in Sparta already mentioned by Pausanias. This site, rich in religious significance, was located near other important cult places, including, for instance, the tombs of Alcman or the sanctuary of Heracles, which underscored the sacredness of this area. Devotees offered gifts such as flowers, fruits, grains, and other votive items to seek Helen's favor, but the rituals also included animal sacrifices. These offerings were believed to secure her protection and blessings, particularly for women who sought her guidance in matters related to beauty, fertility, and domestic harmony. Scholars have suggested that the cult of Helen may be understood through the two aspects outlined by Theocritus. That means Helen as an adolescent worshipped at the Platanistas, and Helen as the devoted wife revered at the Menelaon. These dual aspects link her to initiation rituals, marriage, and fertility, making her a central figure in the rites of passage of Spartan women. The active participation of Spartan girls and women in Helen's worship is further evidenced by archaeological findings, including jewelry and pottery, perfume orders, which were likely used in rituals and offerings at her sanctuaries. Helen's cult was deeply intertwined with that of her divine brothers, Castor and Pollux, the Dioscuri. The celebration honoring these twin deities often included elements of Helen's worship, highlighting the close connection between these figures in the Spartan religious life. Women were integral to these festivals, actively participating in processions, making offerings, and performing choral songs that paid tribute to both Helen and the Dioscuri. Their involvement underscored the essential role women played in maintaining the spiritual and the cultural traditions of Sparta. The close association between Helen and her brothers, who were considered the foremost protectors of Sparta, suggests meaningful parallels that reinforce this interpretation. For instance, the fact that the young girls led by Helen would play in the dromos, a traditionally location reserved for the races of the Neoi, the newly initiated young men of Sparta, according to Aristophanes, is particularly significant. This setting implies that the girls emulating Helen were seen as possessing quality alike to those of the Neoi, who were on the point of full integration into the adult social order. These parallels suggest that Helen's influence extended beyond mere worship and into the realm of shaping the virtues and characteristics valued in Spartan youth. Moreover, women were instrumental in maintaining the sanctuaries dedicated to the Dioscuri, engaging in rituals that honored the divine twins and reinforced the values they represented. That means loyalty, strength, and martial excellence. As for the cult of the Leucippides, who were the wives of the Dioscuri, this symbolized the critical passage from adolescence to adulthood, reflecting the societal importance of this transition in Spartan culture, running parallel to the cult of Helen. Women, particularly young girls known as Parthenoi, served as priestesses in the Leucippides cult, leading various rituals, sacrifices, and processions. These young priestesses were central figures in the religious life of Sparta, embodying ideals of purity, devotions, and readiness to assume adult responsibilities. The dual nature of the Leucippides, representing both the innocence of youth and the responsibilities of marriage, mirrored the expectation placed upon Spartan women. Now we move to Amicles, and in particular to the cult of Cassandra Alexandra. This figure, who was known as Alexandra in Sparta, was deeply embedded in Spartan religious life, where she was revered for her prophetic abilities and tragic fate. Spartan women played a pivotal role in the worship and rituals dedicated to Cassandra. Their active involvement in these religious practices highlighted the significant influence women held within Spartan society, particularly in the religious sphere. Indeed, women were central to the festivals honoring Cassandra, participating in a range of activities that included solemn religious rites, public celebrations, and community gatherings. These festivals were not just events of worship, but also served as important social occasions that reinforced the community bonds. The rituals often involved offerings and sacrifices, with animal sacrifices and libations being especially prominent. These acts were believed to have a direct impact on the well-being of the community, seeking Cassandra's protection and favor, particularly in times of crisis. The role of women as priestesses within Cassandra's cult underscored their authority and respect in Spartan religious life. These priestesses were entrusted with the responsibility of conducting rituals and leading worship, making them central figures in guiding the community's spiritual activities. Their involvement went beyond ceremonial duties, reflecting the broader respect and the influence granted to women in Spartan religious practices. Choral performances and dances were also key elements of the rituals dedicated to Cassandra, with groups of women and girls performing hymns and songs in her honor, often accompanied by traditional instruments such as lyres and flutes. These performances were not only acts of devotion, but also demonstrated the communal and participatory nature of Spartan worship, where women played a leading role. Some Spartan cults involved also historical personalities, such as in the case of the already mentioned Kiniska. So, to sum up, she was a Spartan princess who broke barriers as the first woman to win twice at the Olympic Games. Therefore, she represents a significant and innovative figure of Spartan religious life. Kiniska's remarkable achievements were more than just personal victories, because they symbolized the exceptional strength and capability of Spartan women, embodying the deep respect and the encouragement for female athleticism that was integral to Spartan culture. According to the account of Pausanias, a sanctuary of Kiniska was established in Sparta in the Platanistas. This sacred space, adorned with stages and inscriptions, served as a focal point for rituals and ceremonies that commemorated her legacy. The sanctuary became a place where admirers could gather to pay tribute to Kiniska's achievement, which stood as enduring symbols of her impact on Spartan society and the role of women within it. The annual festivals held in Kiniska's honor featured athletic competitions, processions, and public festivities. These events were particularly important for women and girls who participated in the athletic contests, showcasing their own physical skills and drawing inspiration from Kiniska's legacy. The festivals were not only a tribute to Kiniska's groundbreaking accomplishments, but also a powerful motivator, encouraging other Spartan women to excel in athletics and contribute to the glory of Sparta. A central highlight of these festivals were the chariot races, of course, conducted in Kiniska's honor to commemorate her historic Olympic victories. These races were much more than mere sporting events. They were vivid expressions of the high regard the Spartan society had for physical strength and skill. A final observation concerns the performances during the Iakintia festival, one of the most important events in Spartan religious life, that indeed honored the deep connection between the mortal hero Iakintos and the god Apollo, capturing the essence of themes like death and rebirth that were central to Spartan spirituality. Women played a crucial role in the various rituals and ceremonies throughout the festival. On the first day, they were deeply involved in the mourning rites, where their participation in offerings, lamentations, and sacrifices highlighted their role as the custodians of Spartan traditions and religious practices. The use of a local type of hymn or chant on the second day marked the celebration of Apollo's role in Iakintos' ascension, reflecting a communal shift from grief to joy. As the festival progressed, the entire Spartan population, including women and slaves, would leave the town to gather at the sanctuary for collective worship. Therefore, women were integral to the singing and the musical performances that celebrated Apollo's triumph, emphasizing their participation in the spiritual life of Sparta. They were also involved in the Theusia, or the sacrificial rites that honored Apollo on the second day, showcasing their active engagement in the rituals that reinforced the community's religious cohesion. The Iakintia festival was deeply symbolic, representing the cyclical nature of life and death, with women at the heart of these transitional rituals. Their participation highlighted the broader cultural and religious belief in Sparta, where the concepts of renewal and continuity were central. Through these ceremonies, women not only fulfilled their societal roles, but also gained a significant opportunity to exert influence and authority within both the sacred and the public domains. Figures like Helen, Cassandra, and Kiniska were revered not just as heroic entities, but as role models and protectors who embodied the virtues that were highly valued in Spartan women. These figures represented resilience, prophetic wisdom, and athletic excellence, qualities that Spartan women were encouraged to emulate in their own lives. Moreover, the festivals and the rituals associated with these figures played a crucial role in strengthening communal ties. By engaging in these practices, Spartan women helped ensure the continuity of traditions and the stability of the social structure, making their role in the spiritual and cultural life of Sparta indispensable. In conclusion, the participation of Spartan women in heroic cults and ritual activities was a fundamental aspect of their society. These women went beyond the traditional role expected of them in ancient Greece, holding significant influence in both religious and public spheres. This involvement granted them a level of autonomy and public presence that was unparalleled in the ancient Greek world, distinguishing them from women in other polis. Their roles in these religious practices were not only a reflection of their societal responsibility, but also a testament to the unique position they held in Spartan society, where they were recognized as essential contributors to the state's stability, culture, and religious life. Thank you.